Hi, welcome back to Real Reviews. This is Cody Williams, and we're here to talk about the movie Y2K. It is the newest film to come from A24 that I've been very much looking forward to for quite some time now since seeing the previews for it. It is a satirical disaster comedy horror movie that is based on the old common fear of computers crashing and the coming of an apocalypse on the eve of 1999 going to 2000. I think it's a fantastic original idea for a movie, so you could probably imagine just how excited I am for this movie. Is it any good? Well, let's talk about it. The movie story follows two high school nobodies who make the decision to crash the last major celebration before the new millennium on New Year's Eve 1999, only to find themselves fighting for their lives when Y2K becomes a reality. For an A24 movie, this is surprisingly one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I can't fathom what went wrong or whatever. It's just, there's a couple good things I liked about the movie, but there's just so many things that are wrong about the movie. I don't even know where to begin. So let's get right down to the punch. I will say that this is one of the craziest movies I've ever seen, but it's still bad. So what does that tell you? At least it was so much more bloodier than I really anticipated, because I did not expect that amount of gore in this type of movie, because I was expecting robots offing people left after right and whatnot, but still, it was pretty crazy. Now, when it comes to the robots themselves, they were pretty cool looking, and the practical effects that went into them were really nice, and I can't believe they went all practical, because everything looked so tangible and real and made the film more enjoyable to some degree, at least. This movie does try to play itself off as an original story, but you can tell it borrows elements from other movies, from Lawnmower Man, Virus. I don't know if you remember that one or not, but I seem to remember liking it because I had Donald Sutherland and Jamie Lee Curtis. But you can tell it just concocted each other into one weird amalgamation of a story, and it's not entirely original as it claims to be. Now, when it comes to the 90s, there's a lot of nostalgia bait in here. I mean, you have the music, the pop culture moments, the costuming, and everything else. Is it a little much? Kinda, but it does tend to go overboard with it. So, I mean, coming from the 90s, I enjoyed it, but it was a little too much. While the movie did manage to get some slight chuckles out of me, but it still wasn't funny. I don't know how to explain it, but it tries too hard and it feels too forced, where I did not enjoy the humor that it tried to do, but the movie's humor just fails, like, really bad. With the movie having a runtime of 90 minutes, the movie's pacing was so breakneck fast, it's ridiculous. I mean, one thing happens after the other, and it just leaves no room for downtime or a breather or anything to have any actual character development. And that's what this movie needed, because the characters are so unlikable. I mean, they're so unlikable, you actually want to root for the robots, often people one after the other. It's like, wow, this movie did really bad with the characters. Like, even though there's really good talent with Julian Dennison and Jaeden Martell and Rachel Zegler, but the characters are just so bland. I mean, with all that said, I don't know how this movie got made, because there's such a blunder of a mess of a film. I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed for this movie to have A24's name attached. It's like, whew. Overall, Y2K is a mind-numbingly mundane film that has no ounce of any actual enjoyment whatsoever. While it did have some sort of potential, however, it just did not stick the landing. While the movie is not a downright complete total failure, it is still pretty bad. I give this movie a D. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Keep up my real reviews.